My child, I am so glad you have come to hear my heart. Lean in close, for I am about to share a secret that will become your anchor in every storm you will ever face. I know you feel it, the sense of urgency that permeates the world, the low hum of anxiety that follows you through your day. In these moments of emergency, both personal and global, have you ever paused to ask what I truly desire from you? It is not your frantic activity or your desperate problem solving, my child. What I desire is your undivided attention, your willing stillness, and your unwavering trust. I am not speaking of a trust that is strong only when the sun shines and the seas are calm. I am talking about a trust that is rooted so deeply in the soil of my nature that no storm, no matter how fierce, has the power to rip it from the ground. I desire the kind of trust that continues to breathe in the suffocating darkness, that waits patiently when answers are delayed, and that listens intently even when my silence stretches longer than what feels comfortable. I desire your permission to be the one who sets the pace of your life, who carves out your path, and who provides for your every need along the way. When the storms of life begin to roar, your first instinct is to clench your fists and try to hold everything together with your own strength. But I have never asked you to hold everything. I have only asked you to hold on to me. When the ground beneath you shakes, you instinctively look to the shifting circumstances for a sign of safety. But I tell you, true and lasting safety has never been found in the outward world. It has always been and will always be found within my presence. Your life was never designed to be anchored to your circumstances. They shift like a desert sands and rise and fall like ocean tides. Your life was meant to be anchored to me, for I am the rock that remains steady and the constant you can build your life upon. When you feel rushed, pressured, and overwhelmed by the demands of life, the world screams at you to react, to fix it, to rescue yourself. But I whisper to you, rest. Not because your situation is insignificant, but because I am infinitely greater than anything you could ever face. Rest is not a passive act of giving up. It is a powerful act of faith. And faith, my child, is the very atmosphere in which my power is unleashed to move freely and mightily on your behalf. Do you understand why I ask you to be still when the tempests rage? Storms are designed to scatter you. They scatter your thoughts into 1,000 different worries. They scatter your peace until it is in tatters, and they scatter your sense of direction until you are utterly lost. They aim to pull you into a whirlpool of anxiety, but stillness does the opposite. Stillness gathers all the fragmented pieces of your heart and brings you back into perfect alignment with me. It is in the quiet that you can finally hear my whispers above the deafening noise of the world. It is in the stillness that you can feel my hand gently guiding you, instead of you fumbling for solutions in the dark. Stillness is not an empty void. It is the sacred space where your heart learns to beat in rhythm with mine once more. I do not need you to solve every challenge that comes your way. I simply need you to remain yielded to my will. There is a profound difference between surrendering out of defeat and surrendering out of trust. What I ask of you is the latter. The storms of life are not sent to break you. They are permitted to break the illusions you have held on to, the illusion that you could ever truly survive and thrive without me. Every wave that crashes against the shore of your life is a reminder that I am the one who commands the waters. Every wind that howls is a reminder that nothing in this universe moves without first passing through my loving permission. If you could only grasp the divine precision with which I hold your life in my hands, you would never again fear what appears to be chaos. When the world falls into crisis, fear spreads like a wildfire, casting long, dark shadows across the minds of those who are unguarded. But you, my precious child, were not created to live in the shadows. You were designed to live in my light. And my light is not like a flickering candle. It is an eternal flame that never wavers. My light does not shrink back when darkness advances. It shines brightest in the deepest night. My light is not dependent on the stability of your circumstances, for it emanates from the very core of my being. And because you are mine, that same light resides within you. So when emergencies arise, I am not asking you to run to every voice that shouts for your attention. I am asking you to pause and discern mine. Many voices will speak to you loudly, urgently, and persuasively, but my truth speaks with a quiet clarity, not with frantic panic. My voice carries peace, even when it brings correction. My voice offers deep reassurance, even when it calls you to new and daunting levels of faith. My voice does not push you from behind. It gently draws you forward. My voice does not create confusion. It brings divine alignment. My voice will not leave you exhausted. It will fill you with my strength. You often cry out, "Lord, why do you allow these storms to happen?" My child, storms are often the only conditions under which you are willing to look deeply within yourself and honestly assess where your anchor is truly placed. They are not meant to shame you, but to train you. They reveal what you are still clinging to, what still needs to be surrendered into my hands. They expose the false securities you have built your life on, so that I can replace them with a foundation that will never crumble. Storms do not come to destroy your destiny. They come to destroy everything that is hindering your destiny. I am shaping you for something far greater than mere survival. I am shaping you for a divine purpose, and that purpose requires endurance, clarity, and a heart that has learned how to remain steady in me, regardless of the external chaos. You cannot fulfill the high calling on your life if you are tossed about by every passing wind of circumstance. So, I permit situations that will forge strength within you. I do not delight in your struggle, but I delight in who you are becoming through it. You see the storm, I see your strengthening. You feel the shaking, I see the solidifying of your faith. My child, here is the secret I want to reveal to you, the truth that will set you free. You are never in an emergency. The situations you face may be emergencies, but you are not. You are held safely by the one who is not bound by time or pressured by urgency. I operate in perfect timing, not in rushed, panicked timing. I do not rush because I have no fear. And if you will learn to abide in me, you will learn to move with the serene calmness of heaven, even as you walk through the turbulence of this earth. You believe that your life needs to be rescued from the chaos, but what you truly need is to be rescued from the fear that arises within the chaos. Your greatest battle is not with the external storm, but with the internal anxiety that the storm triggers. Fear tells you this storm will define you. Faith whispers, I will define you through this storm. Fear screams, danger is approaching. Faith reassures you, I am nearer than the danger. Fear obsesses over everything that could possibly go wrong. Faith focuses on who I am and all that I can make right. When you feel overwhelmed, your heart tricks you into believing that I am distant. But the truth is, I am closest to you when you are at your weakest. When your voice trembles with fear, my voice is there to steady you. When your knees shake with uncertainty, my hand is there to hold you up. You do not need to have perfect composure to come to me. Bring me your trembling heart. Bring me your tangled and confused questions. Bring me your utterly exhausted spirit. I have no need for your strength to move on your behalf. All I need is your permission. Invite me into the very place where you feel most fragile, and watch in wonder as I transform it into the place where you become most resilient. The world teaches you to hide your vulnerability, to put on a brave face, but I tell you to bring your vulnerability into the light of my presence. I am not repelled by your weakness. I am drawn to it. Your weakness is not a flaw that I disapprove of. It is the very space where my power finds its most perfect resting place. If you were strong in every area of your life, my presence would become optional, a mere accessory. But because you are human, because you have limits, because you run out of your own strength, You are given the beautiful opportunity to experience myth as a distant theological concept, but as the living God who sustains you moment by glorious moment. I do not need you to pretend that everything is fine. Your honest cries open the door for my healing to flow. When you whisper, "Lord, I am so tired," you invite me to be your rest. When you admit, "Lord, I am so scared," you invite me to be your courage. When you confess, "Lord, I am completely lost," you invite me to be your guide. My deepest desire is not for you to impress me, but for you to trust me with every part of yourself. You must grasp this truth deep within your soul. You are never alone in anything. Not in your confusion, not in your heartbreak, not in your waiting, not in your uncertainty, not in your fear, not in your hope, not in your desires, and not in your transformation. Even in those moments when you cannot feel or sense me, I am working with intricate precision on your behalf. You measure my presence by your feelings, but my presence is guaranteed by my promise, and my promise is eternal and unbroken. If I were to pull back the veil and let you see how I govern every detail of your life, you would be left breathless. You would fall to your knees in absolute awe at the myriad of ways I protect you from dangers you never see, redirect you from traps you never know are there, and prepare paths for you that you do not even realize you will need to walk. Nothing about your journey is accidental. Nothing about your existence is overlooked. Nothing about your purpose is fragile in my hands. I have woven strength into the very fabric of your being. But child, you must also understand that this strength does not always feel like strength while it is being formed. More often, it feels like stretching. It feels like letting go of what is comfortable and familiar. It feels like walking through a fog of uncertainty with nothing but my word as your compass. It feels like long, dark nights where you wonder if you have enough left in you to make it until morning. But even in those nights, you are not fainting. You are being refined. You say, "Lord, I am terrified of what is ahead." But I say to you, do not fear the future, for I am already there. I do not merely accompany you on your journey. I go before you to prepare the way. I do not just respond to events as they happen. I orchestrate divine opportunities within them. I do not simply react to what occurs. I am actively shaping what will be. Walk forward, not because you can see the path clearly, but because you know the one who leads you is faithful. The storms you are facing right now are not a sign of my absence. They are a divine invitation into a deeper dependence on me. I want you to know me not just as your creator, but as your sustainer. Not just as your provider, but as your protector. Not just as your healer, but as your constant companion. I want to walk with you through every shadowed valley and celebrate with you on every sunlit mountaintop. You often come to me asking for specific outcomes, but what I truly desire is a relationship with you. I desire your heart in every season of your life, not just in times of crisis. But it is often the crisis that reveals just how deeply you need me. And that realization, my child, is not a punishment. It is a glorious awakening. You are worried about what might collapse, but I am focused on what will emerge from the rubble. You see a threat, I see a transformation. You see an obstacle, I see an opening. You see an ending, I see a brand new beginning. Your perspective is limited by the constraints of time, but mine is shaped by the boundless expanse of eternity. That is why I tell you not to be afraid. That is why I implore you to trust me, even when you do not understand. Understanding is not the foundation of your faith. Trust is. Even when you cannot see me working, I am aligning everything necessary for your growth. There are alignments happening in the unseen realm that would bring you to tears of joy if you could witness their intricate beauty. There are layers of protection surrounding you that you will only recognize when you look back in hindsight. There are doors being built for you right now that you do not yet know you will one day walk through. You cannot see the fullness of my workings, but you can feel the gentle pull of my guidance in your spirit. Follow that pull. It will never mislead you. Do not ever measure my love for you by the comfort of your circumstances. My love is deeper than ease, stronger than calm waters, and more enduring than any human assurance. My love meets you in your messes, walks with you through the storms, shapes you through your adversities, and lifts you up when you do not have the strength to lift yourself. My love is not a fragile, fleeting emotion. It does not fluctuate with your behavior or weaken when your faith wavers. My love is the one constant in the universe that you can fully and completely depend on. When life feels heavy, you often interpret that heaviness as a sign of failure. But sometimes, heaviness is simply the weight of new beginnings forming within you. You do not always know how close you are to your breakthrough, because transformation rarely announces its arrival. It begins quietly, hidden from sight, like a seed germinating in the dark soil. A seed does not break through the ground because the soil is hostile. It breaks through because its time has come. In the same way, you will break forth into new seasons, not because you have mastered every lesson, but simply because I say, it is time. My child, if you truly desire to understand the depth of what I am telling you, then look to the stories I have already written for you in Scripture. For every truth I whisper to your heart, I have placed a living demonstration within my word, so that you may see how I move, how I speak, how I sustain, and how I reveal myself in the midst of life's greatest storms. Nothing I ask of you is without evidence. Nothing I instruct you to trust is without a living witness. You are not the first to face a storm, nor the first to feel overwhelmed, nor the first to wonder if I will come through for you. But every single time my children thought they were in an emergency, I revealed that their emergency was my grand opportunity to show them who I am. Look at Moses, standing before the vast Red Sea with the thundering chariots of Pharaoh's army closing in behind him. My people cried out in sheer panic. They saw only danger, death, and destruction. They saw no escape, no path forward, no possible solution. But I did not see an emergency. I saw a perfect moment to teach them about my delivering power. I did not rush, for I am never bound by threats. I instructed Moses to stand still and watch my salvation unfold. That stillness was not passivity. It was an act of radical faith. And when the waters parted, my people learned a lesson for all time. No obstacle is too great for me to divide. As they walked through the sea on dry ground, with towering walls of water held up by my very breath, they understood that their moment of greatest extremity was my stage for glory. I did not remove the sea before they arrived. I waited until the moment their hearts were most desperate, because it is in desperation that faith becomes most visible. Look at Elijah on Mount Carmel, a lone prophet surrounded by hundreds of hostile voices challenging my presence, mocking his faith, and claiming their false gods would answer with fire. My prophet felt isolated and overwhelmed by the opposition, yet he stood firm. He rebuilt the broken altar, perhaps with trembling hands, but with a heart that was steady in me. He prayed, not a loud, frantic prayer, but a simple, direct prayer rooted in unwavering trust. And I answered with fire from heaven, not because he was strong, but because he was completely dependent on me. Elijah's moment of crisis became a stunning revelation to all who watched that I am the God who responds in power when my children call upon me in faith. I did not require him to physically fight his enemies. I required him to trust me to reveal myself. Look also at Hagar, alone in the barren wilderness. She felt forgotten, abandoned, and utterly invisible. She believed her circumstances had pushed her beyond the reach of hope, but I found her right where she had fallen. I spoke to her in the place where she felt most unseen. I gave her a promise for the future when she felt her life was purposeless. And in that desolate place of despair, she gave me a new name, the God who sees. Her emergency became the sacred ground where she discovered that my eyes never leave the broken hearth. Look at Joseph, thrown into a pit by his own flesh and blood. He could not have known that this act of betrayal was the first step on his path to purpose. He could not have known that the prison cell would become the waiting room for the palace. He could not have known that years of misunderstanding, false accusations, and painful waiting were all necessary threads in the magnificent tapestry I was weaving. Joseph saw injustice. I saw preparation. Joseph saw delay. I saw divine alignment. Joseph saw closed doors. I saw a corridor leading him straight to his destiny. And when all the pieces finally came together, he was able to look back and understand that what others had intended for evil, I had masterfully woven for good. This is the secret I need you to see. I do not just redeem what happens to you. I transform it for a purpose that is far beyond what you could ever imagine. And what of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3 young men standing before a furnace heated 7 times hotter than normal? They did not know for certain if I would deliver them, yet their faith was absolute. Even if he does not, they declared, we will not bow. My child, this is the kind of faith that shakes the very foundations of darkness. This is the trust that moves my heart. I did not stop them from being thrown into the fire. I joined them in it. The flames had no power to consume them because my presence was their shield. And when they emerged, without a single hair on their heads singed, the world learned a powerful truth. I do not always prevent the fire, but I always preserve my own within it. Consider my servant David hiding in the wilderness. He was pursued relentlessly by a jealous king, hunted like an animal, and surrounded by constant uncertainty. Yet in those dark caves, he cried out to me again and again. The beautiful psalms that comfort you today were born out of his storms. He learned to find his true refuge not in caves, but in me. And because he learned to depend on me in the hidden places, I was able to raise him up to rule in the public square. David became a great king not because he could fight lions and giants, but because he learned to depend on me when no one else was watching. And remember Ruth, a grieving widow in a foreign land. She had every reason to believe that her life was over, that her story had ended in tragedy and loss. But I orchestrated every single step of her journey. What appeared to be a future of scarcity became the doorway to redemption. What looked like a final ending became the beginning of a royal lineage through which kings and the Messiah himself would come. Ruth's story teaches you that I can bring profound purpose out of deep pain, and I can birth a glorious destiny from simple decisions made in loyalty and faith. My child, every one of these stories, every biblical instance of storms, trials, delays, threats, and impossibilities, reveals the same timeless truth that I am teaching you right now. There is no such thing as an emergency in my kingdom. What appears urgent to you is already accounted for in my infinite wisdom. What appears dangerous to you is already under my sovereign authority. What appears impossible to you is already woven into my perfect plan. I want you to see that none of these men and women of faith survived by their own strength. I carried them. I spoke to them. I guided them. I intervened for them. I uplifted them in their darkest hours. And I will do the exact same for you. You are not walking a path that I have not already walked with countless others. The faithfulness I showed to them is the very same faithfulness I extend to you now. You are mine, and I will never let you go. Amen.